Hello everybody, welcome back to Anna with Plants. My name is Anastasia. Thank you so much for joining me for another video. In today's video, I am bringing you kind of like a show and tell. We're going to be talking about all of the plants that I have either gotten and I've never told you guys, or I just haven't shown these plants in a while on this channel and I thought it was worth a share. Also, happy October to everyone. Where did September go? I don't know. I hope everyone is having a lovely start to fall, and without further ado, let's just jump into it, shall we? So we're gonna start with Hoya first, since I have the least amount. We're gonna go to alocasia, and then we're going to end off with anthurium. Okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 Hoya here to show you. I'm gonna start off with 2 that are the same species. This is the variegated burtoniae. For me, the variegation is kind of hit or miss. I haven't really changed its lighting conditions, but I've noticed that the newer growth has been coming in a little bit darker than the previous growth up here. I don't know what's up with that. Is it maybe temperature dependent? I don't really know. I haven't changed the lighting conditions or anything like that, so I'm not entirely sure, because as you can see, I got the plant with darker foliage and then it got brighter here and then now it's kind of back to being dark again. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. It's been just growing away on my Hoya cabinet in my bedroom shelf. I think I maybe showed this to you 5-6 months ago. It's been a while and it's definitely gotten a little bit bigger, but I want to show you its brother or sister. It's going to be the regular burtoniae. I've honestly been liking this one slightly more than the variegated version, just because it's just such a good, reliable grower. First of all, it's been blooming pretty much all summer. This is probably one of the Hoyas that I haven't really shown you that's been blooming quite a lot, and it also gets a little bit sun stressed. There is a little bit of sun stress going on these top leaves here. And in terms of the blooms, like I said, it's just been doing blooms all summer. I know people say burtoniae blooms smell horrible. I don't know. I can't smell it at all. I really don't know what the blooms smell like, but I want to say people say that these blooms smell like cat pee. If you've had your burtoniae bloom before, let me know what the blooms smell like to you. I can't smell them. I don't think I have any actively opened blooms right now. It's just been doing super duper well. Also, I have a root situation. I just noticed this today when I grabbed it. Look at that thick. This is like an inch of roots growing out of the bottom, and these roots are totally healthy. They're dry, but they're very healthy, and this root system is so extensive that I actually can't fit it back into the pot normally because of the roots. The pot doesn't fit as flush anymore. I should probably repot it, but I'm lazy and I think I'm just gonna let it go for now. But I just wanted to show you the burtoniae because I think this is just a pretty common Hoya, but I think it is one of the good ones. If you haven't felt this Hoya before, I highly suggest for you to feel it because it feels like very matte and very rigid, I want to say. It's a goodie. We're gonna talk about a publicalyx. I have not shown my splashy one. I feel like since I did the plant tour in January, it's been a really long time. Unfortunately, it did meet its demise a little bit with a case of root rot. I wanna say spring, summertime, so I propped it and it is living in this container of props. I wanted to show you though the new growth. There are some props of the older leaves that look good, and when I tell you that I finally propped this Hoya when it was wrinkly, so wrinkly, I didn't think any of the props would take. They have, thank goodness. This one is an interesting one. This is the new leaf that has grown, and look at how, because publicalyx usually has these long leaves, so it's just kind of funny to see this really round leaf compared to the old ones. It's still splashy, which is nice, but I just think it's kind of funny how it decided to grow a round leaf. And then there's one other prop. This is another nice leaf and another prop. Very splashy. So I do like the genetics of this plant. I will pot it up eventually all together. I have a lot of props going. I think I have like 4 full containers of Hoya props at the moment that need to be repotted. So this has just been on the back burner for now, but I still have the plant. So that's the splashy publicalyx that I have. Let's talk about a silvery Hoya. This is the Hoya silver dollar. This used to be a very popular plant back in the day. Now it's a lot more affordable. So if you've ever wanted one, I think a cutting, a 1 node 2 leafer is gonna cost you maybe about like $30–$35 is what I've been seeing, is what I've been seeing them go for. If you haven't seen this plant in person, it has this very interesting minty, silvery leaves. Some of the leaves can also get darker splashes on them, like so. I really do need to trellis this Hoya a little bit better. It was also growing this long tendril along a shelf, and when I got it out, I unfortunately snapped that long tendril, so that was a little bit sad. But yeah, unfortunately, I feel like this is kind of one of the Hoyas that has been kind of put on the back of the shelf, and I haven't really done much to it in a while. So much so that I noticed that a lot of the roots that were in the water have kind of started to rot a little bit. I think I'm gonna have to give this one a little bit more TLC sometime down in the future. I just wanted to show you this though. I am so sorry for the squawking bird, but we are quickly losing daylight, so I have to keep this video going. All in all, I just wanted to show you guys this plant because I know that you haven't seen it in a while, probably since the plant tour videos. The last Hoya I want to show you guys is the Hoya caudata silver. I think the last time you guys saw this plant, it almost was about to bloom, and unfortunately the blooms blasted. It did fill out this circle trellis pretty well since then. It hasn't grown in a while, so I don't know what's up with that. The roots that I checked were doing pretty good. There's a lot of tendrils happening here. It's also one of the nicer Hoyas to feel in terms of texture too, and I really love the crinkly edges that the leaves can sometimes get. I think that's a lot of fun. I also love the blooms. Of course, I'm sure everyone has seen the caudata blooms. They're pretty fuzzy and very, very cute. I haven't gotten mine to bloom yet, and I feel like it's a pretty big plant, so I don't know, maybe it'll happen next year, hopefully. Caudata silver. We're gonna now move into alocasia. This is pretty much an alocasia collection video too, because these are, I think, all of my alocasia that have made it. I am not the best grower of them. Pretty much all of that alocasia that I bought as a plug because I wanted to grow them up bigger. They just will really let you know what they don't like, and they seem to not like a lot of things, and they really like to rot. So I haven't had the best luck with this genus, but I do still have some alocasia that I wanted to share with you guys. And just keep in mind, these aren't huge plants, they're pretty small still. I want to first go over the alocasia that I featured in, I think back in March, so it's been a while now, from the Green Escape haul, where you not only saw me haul all of these alocasia, you also saw me pot them up. They're still currently in all of the containers that I potted them in. This is the alocasia scalprum. It is in the 1 leaf club, which is a very common thing for alocasia. I think since the last time you saw it, it has at least matured a little bit in the sense that you can see the lobes on it finally. A lot of times when alocasias are pretty tiny, they'll have the lobes connected at the top. So this is the alocasia scalprum. Still pretty green, but I know when they get a lot more mature, they kind of start to turn this like almost black color. It's alive so far, so I'm gonna take that as a win. The next one I have to show you is the alocasia micholitziana. I want to say that's the name. This is the oldest leaf that I still have on it. It's kind of starting to go and yellow at the edge, and this is the next leaf, which looks a little bit chlorotic. I'm pretty sure that's a little bit of chlorosis. Honestly, I kind of think that pattern looks a little bit cool. I know it's not supposed to be like that. And then it is popping out a new leaf here, so hopefully it'll be even bigger than the last one. This one is maturing quite quickly because I want to say when I first got this alocasia, it didn't even have the stripes in it at all. At least it's doing well, and it has rooted in the substrate quite well. So I think it is also time to take it out and pot it into something a little bit bigger. The only thing is repotting alocasia scare the absolute bejesus out of me. I don't know, wish me luck if I decide to repot this boy. Moving on to the alocasia silver dragon. This one is still pretty immature. It hasn't split the top lobes yet. This is one of the older leaves, the next leaf, and then this is the biggest leaf. It kept trying to grow a new leaf, but then hasn't been able to do so. So I think that's a little bit of a underwatering issue. I'll take all the blame for that. I do love the backs of it. The dark purple on the back is quite pretty. Also time for an upsize for this guy as well. Next one I want to show you is a very pretty alocasia. This one I need to look up the name. I want to say it's called Blizzard or something like that. The leaves size up very not noticeably at all. I think this is the newest one, and it is slightly bigger than all the others. I think it's really cute because it has a corm on the side that has started to grow. So look at this adorable little leaf right here. It has a little baby next to it. I don't think this one needs to be upsized quite yet, and it is at least growing. I really do like the mottled pattern. Now the next one you have not seen before. I think I just happened to buy it and not show you guys. This is called a purple cloak. Right now this is not super duper impressive, but it's called a purple cloak. I'm assuming because of the back, but these are the other leaves that it has here, and this is the newest leaf. I'll go ahead and show you guys a more mature form of this plant, but I really do like the ears on it. I think it is a very cool looking alocasia. Next one I want to show you is a little bit sad because it got ravaged by spider mites. This is the alocasia black velvet. This one, look at all the spider mite damage. It's pretty bad. This leaf also got hit, but probably not as bad as the other one. I love the feel of this one very, very much. I just hope that I can have it bounce back and recoup because I literally had to like wash down all of these today because alocasia are spider mite magnets. It's really, really bad. This is another drawback to this genus is they just attract spider mites like no other. Two more I have to show you. This is called the alocasia platinum. This is the newest leaf that literally just came out a couple days ago. These are the older leaves, less mature. This one hasn't split down the middle quite yet, but I think it will maybe in the next leaf. I can hope. It is starting to. At the top you can see it. I love the texture of this one too. It feels a lot like the scalprum, except it's silver. This one looks a lot like the next one that I want to show you. It's called the alocasia heterophylla, or I think it's also called the dragon breath. I want to say that's correct. Yeah, these are all of the leaves. This one is upside down. Please don't ask me why it's upside down. That's just kind of how it decided to stay. And this one is one of the newest leaves that it has given me. I really love those tall, you know, dragon-like ears, super duper cute. This one I think has 3 plants in this pot. A lot of the plant died back when I initially got it, but it's been doing okay. I definitely need to keep an eye on this one because of all the spider mites, but another very cool alocasia. All right, we're gonna move into anthurium. So sorry if you can hear my dog. Okay, this one, I want to show you the first anthurium that I ever bought, and I've had it for like probably over a year now, and it's hilarious that it's still in the seedling stage. I learned so many lessons with growing anthurium and anthurium seedlings with this one. So although it's still very small, it's still alive, and I am very grateful for it for teaching me so much because I've almost unalived this plant a lot of times. I got this off of Etsy and I got it as a dock block hybrid, but they did not specify what kind of dock block hybrid it was. I didn't know back then that you were supposed to even know what the parent plants were. This is like Again, first anthurium that I ever got. I think it definitely has dock block because the emergents are quite colorful, but I also think that it has maybe a little bit of lux in it, because do you see the pebbly texture in it? It's not super duper apparent, but I wouldn't be surprised if a parent had part lux in it. This is the older leaf right here. This is still very small, but it's taught me a lot and I'm glad that it's alive. It also has a new leaf that's coming out, so that is exciting. I really hope that one day I can actually turn this into a big plant. I think that would be so cool. I want to show you guys two brand new purchases. These anthurium just came in this week. I bought a couple seedlings from Granthuriums, and can I just say that the tags are immaculate? Look at this. So not only is it super holographic and shiny, these are thick plastic tags. They're not paper. They are like properly acrylic thick tags. And this one has the name engraved on it. Hopefully you can kind of see that, but I think that's so cool. This is the anthurium antolakii, which is also a bvep, and it's his round crossed with a pheonix and crossed with a dark star. If you don't know any of that, which is kind of hard to follow, it's just basically like a pure bvep or antolakii, which is now what they're being called. This is what it looks like. It is a seedling, so you're not really going to be able to tell too much with the color quite yet, but you can see it is a bvep kind of here, and they also tend to be a little bit round too. These are just all of the other leaves that it has, but it also is pushing out a new leaf right there. So I'm very excited to see what the new leaf will look like. Hopefully we can get a little bit of color into it, because that's kind of what bveps are known for. I also decided to keep the cotton pad on it because it's in moss, and moss scares me a lot. It has a very chonky root right there, and I want to keep that root alive for when I repot it, so that's why I'm just keeping the cotton pad on it right now. The other seedling I got is the antolakii RF1 crossed with a Carla GPH001, basically a bvep crossed with a Carla. Because it's very juvenile, you won't really be able to tell too much. This one looks like it's going to be a round boy, which is exciting, and it did unfurl this leaf after I got it. You can't really see much, but I can definitely see the bvep in the back for sure. So these are the two new anthurium that I bought. Keeping on the bvep train, I feel like this video is so dark now. Hopefully it's adding to the autumnal ambiance. I definitely need to film a little bit earlier next time. Okay, and also I know it's called antolakii. I just kind of, bvep just rolls off the tongue a little bit easier. This is a magnificum cross with a bvep, so what I'm picturing is just a very large bvep. Hopefully you can see bvep through the sinus, and it pushed a new leaf. It looks more dark on camera, again probably because of the lighting, but it's more of a coppery red color right now. I hope it'll size up, and it's growing a nice root out the bottom, so I think it is time for a repot in the near future. So you haven't seen this one in a while. This is the magnificum crossed with a bvep or antolakii. All right, I turned on my spotlight a little bit brighter, so we lost some of the ambiance, but now you can see the plants a little bit better, which is the main purpose of this video. Next one is the dark pheonix crossed with carla. I got this as a pretty small seedling from Hoya Hole. If I have the picture of how small it was when I got it, I'll go ahead and insert it. This is the newest leaf, and it did get a little bit warped because I think it was turning towards the light, so I did move it. The old one got a little bit scuffed, and then I think the last time you saw this plant, it had this leaf on it, which was perfect, but then it got scuffed at some point. I'm not sure when. This has been such a strong seedling, and it's been such a joy watching it grow and just giving the best of both parents. You can really get the pillowiness from the dark pheonix, and then you can see the carla a little bit in the veins. So I really love it. It's also pushing a new leaf right now. Super fast grower, really steady. and I recently repotted it and it is already growing out the bottom of the substrate. I really do love this plant and I can't wait for it to get even bigger. That'd be awesome. This anthurium you haven't seen since I did the anthurium haul, I want to say around June-ish, so it's been several months for sure. This is the, okay, I'm gonna have to look at the tag. This is the Woohoo Pap, which is their Voldemort crossed with the Woo 1. This is the newest leaf. Unfortunately, it's a little bit beat up, sadly. You can see this leaf got spider mite damage and it also got damage unfurling as well. It's really showing off those tall lobes, especially this lobe here is super duper tall and it's a very skinny plant. I really do think that if I finally get a nice leaf on it, it'll look stunning. This was the last one, which also got attacked by spider mites. I had a pretty gnarly time trying to keep spider mites off this plant, and then these are just some of the older leaves. I think this one was the leaf that I originally got it with that was the biggest. So it has sized up since then. I desperately need to repot this anthurium. Oh, and also it started flowering, but I actually cut off the flower just because I really needed to push more leaves and not flower at the moment. It desperately needs to be repotted because this container is like bulging from how many roots have just dominated this substrate. I desperately need to get it in a larger pot because it is not going to make large leaves without an upsize. Okay, the last two plants that I want to talk about are cartel down plants. So this I got, I want to say around December of last year. I got it as a hue crossed with a dorayaki, the hue King of Spades crossed with a dorayaki. That is not what this plant is. It doesn't look anything like what it's supposed to be. So I'm thinking of all the plants that they have, this one probably closely looks like maybe like a Pap X1 just because of the sinus is very starburst shaped. I don't know, this plant got thrips over the summer, so that's why I had to cut quite a bit of leaves away. So this was the oldest leaf and then it has a new leaf coming out. It's funny because it is a dark leaf. It's like a very dark red leaf, but in the viewfinder it looks pretty black. This is a super duper nice plant, really pretty. Definitely not a hue cross with a dorayaki. I don't know if I'll ever get the proper ID for this. If you guys have any ideas of what this might be, if you know cartel down anthuriums, let me know in the comments. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, or maybe better than mine. Who knows? The very last plant that I want to talk about is another plant that I desperately need to repot. This is a Bigfoot crossed with a velvet mask. The Bigfoot is a beautiful noID Indonesian hybrid, and then the other plant is like a variegated, and you know it's a variegated because the sinus is fused. So that is what this plant looks like. It definitely has characteristics of both parents. Again, need to repot this. It's pretty wobbly because the stem is super far above the substrate, and yeah, you can see it's just growing all out of there. The container is very algae ridden. These are just all of the older leaves it's giving me. It took a while for this plant to actually start showing characteristics, but I think it finally has. And I really love it. I love the veins. I love the fused sinus. I just would also love for it to give me a bigger leaf, but I know that's my fault for not potting it sooner. So this is the Bigfoot cross with the velvet mask. All right, you guys, I am so sorry. I was putting away everything and I totally forgot to add a plant. And this is, I would say, one of the largest anthurium that I have right now. This one you saw a long time ago when I did that huge anthurium repot. This is a anthurium crystal sky, which is a crystallinum cross with a besseae, but I don't know what order it goes in. It finally pushed a new leaf. Okay, look at this leaf, you guys. Hopefully y'all can see it. It looks very magnificent. The lighting, yeah, okay, there you guys go. Hopefully you can see how big it is. It looks awesome, and the sinus is also kind of wide, which is pretty fun. I don't think the other leaves really had that much of a wide sinus. This is one of them, and this is one of them right here. So it's really fun to see a wide sinus on this new leaf. It did get a little bit dinged up, as you can see, when it was coming out of the caterpillar. But it is a really, really big leaf, and it's still very floppy and expanding. And if you guys don't remember, I put this in like a giant 10-inch net pot, and finally the roots are, do you see that? Those are actually roots. They're super duper long. It's finally starting to fill out the net pot, which is super nice. But yeah, I just thought I really had to show this one in this video because it's awesome. Okay, sorry. As you were. All right, you guys, sorry for this video. I didn't know that the sun would go down quite so dramatically. I guess the seasons really are changing. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that you have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.